So, welcome to another episode. Today, we're talking about the wheel of life. It's a key concept that obviously coaches use that's really important to understand what's holding someone back from experiencing the life they want. It's a powerful tool, really, to assess the balance and your progress, really, in different aspects of your life. Life is kind of like a wheel, isn't it? And in order to have a smooth journey, you need each spoke of that wheel to be working correctly. The wheel of life itself, as you can probably see on the screen, gives you a clear view of how you're doing in crucial areas. And unless you measure something, it's very difficult to improve upon it, isn't it? The areas are career, for example, finances, family, health, fun, recreation, as well as a few others. So we're going to break down each of these segments and look at how you can assess how you're doing and then what you need to do to improve those areas as well. As an example, there's no point in having $1 billion if your health is in dire straits, you've got no friends, you don't do anything in terms of hobbies or interests, you've got no relationships, and you hate what you do. You might want to take a minute to look at the wheel and maybe rate out of 10 how you feel you're doing in each of those areas. Now, what this isn't is comparative to other people. So if you're earning £100,000 a year, or dollars a year, whatever, and the average is 50, don't see yourself as a 10 out of 10. It's it's a perspective for you. If you feel that you're underachieving, you probably wouldn't give it a 10. You might give it a 7 because although you're doing pretty well, you're not doing as well as you personally want to do to reach your goals. So we're going to go through each of the areas individually. And one caveat is that you will see slightly different versions of this wheel of life, some with less spokes, some with slightly more spokes, and some that combine spokes. But the key fundamentals are the same, really. So the first one is career. Are you in the right career? Are you in the wrong career? What would your ideal career be? If you're in the right career, are you high enough up the food chain for your skill set? Do you need to maybe move away from an employed role and start your own business, go self-employed or whatever? Maybe you not need to start employing people. A career is not just about earning a living, though. It's about fulfillment and growth as well. How satisfied are you with your job or your business? Do you feel like you're progressing? Have you hit a ceiling? Do you feel stuck or uninspired? Do you need to completely do a U-turn and do something different? A marketing manager might feel burned out and want to explore switching industries. A teacher might decide to pursue further education and move into a senior role or an administration role to give themselves more free time in order to start something on the side. By focusing on your career and growth within that, you'll feel more energized and driven. Although people say our career doesn't matter, it does. It's a big, big part of your life, whether it's 9 to 5 or you're running your own business. It sort of becomes who you are to some extent. If your area is low in this area, what do you think you need to do to improve? Do you need to maybe update your CV or resume? Do you need to look at what qualifications you need to move to a different career? Do you maybe look at starting your own business? These are the questions that you need to ask yourself in order to improve this score that you've got, whether it's 5 to 7, 7 to 9, or maybe even an 8 to a 10. The second element of the wheel is finance. Now, we all want to be rich, don't we? We all want to be in a good financial position where we're not too worried about spending because we're earning enough. And finances are the backbone of many decisions in life, aren't they? You would love to go and travel the world, but you haven't got £10,000 or dollars to do so. Are you financially stable? Do you have a savings plan or an investment plan? Or do you live month to month? Or are you in debt? How well are you preparing for your future? Your financial decisions today will benefit your future self or hinder it or her. You might want to work with an advisor or a coach in order to create a plan. You might want to detail your financial goals because it might be that you've got a retirement plan, but you've also got a fund requirement for your children's college or education. Maybe you've got a plan to buy a new car or get some investment property. Being financially secure takes away a lot of stress and allows you to focus on some of the other areas because obviously parts one and two is your career and finance. If those two are pretty good, you've probably got more time to enjoy your hobbies, to socialize, to spend more time in the gym and work on your health. Maybe you've got more time to date. So these two are pretty important because if you've got the stress of bills as well, maybe that's hindering your personality because actually the more stressed we are, the less personality we can show because we are cognitively preoccupied with stress. The next part of the wheel is family. Now it could be your parents, it could be your brothers and sisters, it could be your kids, or it could be family in respect of getting married or getting a partner. Do you even want kids? If you don't and you haven't got them, your score might be slightly higher than it would otherwise be. If you want kids and you haven't got them, maybe there's a fairly low score there. Family's fundamental. It's something that will always be there. How connected are you to your family? Do you see each other enough and do you share enough with them? Do you see parents, cousins, family, um, well, immediate family enough? And do you do anything with them or do you just sort of see them, if that makes sense? Romantically, do you have plans to build a family? Are any of your relationships strained? And if so, is it maybe yourself that's to blame? It's all well and good blaming other people, but realistically, you are probably to blame too. There's two parts to any equation. Can you prioritize some quality time with loved ones? Maybe if your career's a 10, but your family's a 2, maybe you need to look at what needs to be done to maybe take some time away from your job or career and spend more time with family. The next part of the wheel is health. Do you have any ailments? Are you in good physical and mental health? Because actually, health is probably the key one here. Using the same example, if you're a billionaire, you've got some friends, but you're stage 4 cancer, the other parts of the spoke don't really matter so much, do they? Do you have time to exercise? What's your diet like? Are you eating too much or not enough? Are you drinking too much or not enough? Are you consuming more alcohol than you do water? Are you eating more processed food than you are real, organic, wholesome food? Do you have a plan, a gym plan, or are you working towards some sort of physical goal? You might be a weightlifter, you might be a bodybuilder, you might be a martial artist, whatever it's going to be. It's about time management as well, isn't it? How much time are you setting aside? And if you're not setting enough time aside, how can you maybe look at fitting things in? Are you overweight? And if so, by how much? The next part of the wheel is fun, recreational hobbies. So any of those, they sort of fall under the same bracket, really, don't they? Are you social? Are you going out and doing too many things that are fun? Are you spending all your money and all your time on fun? Or are you working too hard and not spending any time letting your hair down and enjoying yourself? All work and no play can lead to burnout. But how often are you making time for these hobbies and recreational? Think about what hobbies you have, what you normally do. Do you just go to the pub, or do you maybe climb mountains? Do you have do you play football? Do you do martial arts? Do you enjoy going out to eat? Think about you can break these areas within the wheel down even further, can't you? And do it that way. But that's something for maybe you to do in your own time. This is an oversight really on what the wheel is. You might love traveling, but you've not traveled in 10 years. That's probably going to give you a very low score on the fun, recreation, and hobbies, isn't it? You might enjoy drawing, but you've not drawn in ages. When you neglect fun and relaxation, it can have an effect on your stress levels and your internal joy. You need these activities, and maybe again, you can cross-reference some of these areas. Maybe your hobbies can be used to increase your finances and career because a lot of the time you might love football and actually get paid to be a football coach or start a football club. And we can go on with as many examples there as you want. The next part of the wheel is friends. Friends are important. Even if you're a little bit of a lone wolf, you need friends there to enjoy things with. Maybe they're there for emotional support or social support. How strong are your friendships? How many do you have? Do you take time to nurture them, or do you sort of feel disconnected? It might be that you've been out of touch with a close friend for a long time, and you should maybe catch up with them and rekindle that friendship. Maybe you need to join a new social group because you feel like you've outgrown your old ones. Maybe you need to improve the quality of existing friends, or maybe you need to improve the quantity of the friends that you have. Again, cross-reference, maybe it's the hobbies and interests you've got that allows you to develop more friends. If you haven't got any hobbies and interests, maybe that's going to fix two birds with one stone. If your score in this area is low, you have to think about why. The next part of this wheel is personal development. Are you stagnant? Are you stale? Are you someone who's growing as a person? Do you actively learn every day? Educational, skill development, emotional growth, philosophy, whatever it's going to be. Have you got goals that you're working towards and becoming the best version of yourself? Is there any courses that you feel that you could enroll upon that will help? Are there any books that you feel that you could buy that would assist in your growth? There's a lot out there that can help you, and I don't mean shortcuts in the way that people think. If you can learn the lessons from people who have already been through them via books, etc., that's going to help. It might not give you everything, but it's definitely going to give you something towards becoming your best self. If you're not actively looking to develop personally and grow yourself, you again cross-reference. If you aren't doing this, you're probably not going to earn as much. Your finances will probably struggle then, and you'll probably feel unfulfilled at work. So there is cross-reference here, but again, you're judging your current position in each of these areas, and then you can look at where to allocate your time and resources. If everything in your life is fine, other than the fact that you're or you haven't got a relationship romantically, you know where to put your time. If everything in your life is going great, but you're in poor physical health, again, you know where to put your time. If everything in your life is going great, but you hate your job, again, you know where to put your time and resource. The last part is spirituality. Now, it's not about religion necessarily, but it's about finding meaning, connection, a deeper understanding of yourself, what your skill sets are, your purpose, your spiritual beliefs, understanding whether or not you're living in line with your philosophy. Do you meditate enough? Do you help others via community sort of help, if you like, or service? Do you get out into nature enough? This is where I would put this in. Um, do you volunteer? If you are religious, are you doing that enough? Do you listen to things that will open up your thought process? Now, this is why balance is crucial. There's no, as I said about the health example, if everything's going great but your health is zero, that means that the wheel will not turn. You need balance across areas, and it's something that I'm trying to do every 6 months and seeing where things are. If, career and finance is going great, but my fun side of things and hobbies is struggling somewhat, I need to reevaluate. On the flip side, if I'm having too much fun, maybe I need to knuckle down a little bit. So yeah, evaluate each area. As we said, look at it at a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you thriving? Where are you falling short? Once you've identified your areas that need improving, set realistic, actionable goals. Start that daily walk. Call that friend. Apply for that job. Create an action plan to solve your immediate needs first, and then incorporate those other areas too. Make that balanced action plan, but with short-term priority. And as I said, check in regularly. I do it every 6 months. It might be that you do it every week. Maybe you do it every month. Maybe you don't do it for a few years. But it needs to be measured and evaluated in order to identify what you need to do to improve. Remember, the best lives are going to be ones that all of those areas are high. So you might have, it's better to have an 8 out of 10 all round than it is to have a 10 in career and finance and a 2 in health for family, spirituality, etc. So what can you do to improve some of those areas and ensure that you at least get to the higher numbers on the scale of 0 or 1 to 10?